Jared Kushner, President Trump's son-in-law and senior advisor, testifies behind closed doors on Monday to the Senate Judiciary Committee. This after news broke, he attended a meeting with a Russian lawyer. Let's go back to the White House for more on the Russia investigation. Joining us now is Marc Lotter, Vice President Mike Pence's press secretary. Mark, the probe into the Russian meddling in the election seems to be preventing the White House from working on its agenda. At least it's been a distraction. Can the White House move beyond all of this and be effective?
What I can tell you, Wyatt, is that the Vice President, the President are entirely focused on moving the President's agenda forward. Just this afternoon, the Vice President hosted over a dozen conservative groups to his office here at the White House, talking about getting together, making sure that the American people reach out to their senators and talk about the need next week to move forward on repealing and replacing Obamacare. That's where we're focused right now. That's where the President and the Vice President remain focused. And we're going to work every day to make sure that we're advancing the agenda that the American people sent President Trump and Vice President Pence to Washington to accomplish.
Well, speaking of health care, Senator Mitch McConnell hopes the vote on the GOP health care bill will come next week. It comes after a week of setbacks for the GOP. What is the Vice President doing to make sure the GOP comes up with a good bill, and how involved is he in this process?
Well, the Vice President and the President are both very involved. The President had all of the Republican senators over for lunch the other day. Both the President and Vice President are making phone calls. Secretary Price, the Director of Medicaid Services, Seema Verma, is meeting individually with senators, answering their questions, talking about the concerns they may have about the impacts in their states, but really working to bring people together, because the Republicans have been talking about this for 7.5 years. The President campaigned on this. It's time for the Senate to step forward, the Congress to do its job, and next week is the time that we're going to get that done. We're going to see moving forward on repealing and replacing Obamacare. It's what the American people sent Republicans to Washington to accomplish.
Pro-life leaders say they want the bill to defund Planned Parenthood and keep the Hyde Amendment, which bans federal funding for abortions. Is the Vice President working with the senators on those two issues?
The bill as it stands right now would defund Planned Parenthood, and it would make sure that federal tax subsidies, federal tax credits are not able to be used for insurance that provides abortion services. Those are things that the President, the Vice President are very committed to. It's currently in the Senate legislation on the replacement side, and so what you're seeing is us put the President putting forward those conservative principles that he ran on into action, but we need the Senate to take action, move this process forward. Now's the time for action.
Last week, we saw a picture of evangelicals praying with the president. And of course, the Vice President, Pence, is very open about his faith and his prayer life. Is he having an impact on the president spiritually?
Well, obviously, the President and the Vice President have a very close personal relationship, and they work together. I wouldn't obviously begin to discuss the impacts and how they might have private conversations with each other. But I can tell you that this President has shown from the very beginning of his administration, as he promised that he would protect the rights of those people of faith and actually put conservative judges on our federal courts who will respect those rights. He is following through on that action, and he's following through his commitment to the American people to continue to move conservative principles forward here in Washington, D.C.
So many important issues there to talk about when it comes to the White House agenda. Marc Lotter, Vice President Mike Pence's press secretary. Thanks so much for talking with us about it.
Thank you.